Raheem Sterling there. This guy, we didn't speak on him. This guy is so disrespected in football. So disrespected.
Mm-hmm.
He's Chelsea's best attacker, hands down.
Yeah.
You can see what kind of influence he can have on games. And it's not just like a new thing. He's been doing this for Man City. He was doing it for Liverpool before he left, and he does it for England. But yet, because he's not the guy who carries the team, because he's not the guy that's like always maybe the poster boy of the team in terms of getting all the goals or maybe getting all the assists, or like, I don't know what it is about Raheem Sterling. People just don't respect him in the way I believe he should do.
This might be the era where this might actually be the club manager where that might start to be the case. If the glimpses of what we saw tonight, especially in the current squad where you kind of are looking at Sterling. I don't know. We didn't see enough of Aubameyang yet to see what kind of role he will play, or Broja, whoever will be their main man. Right now, you kind of look to Sterling a little bit. And I think that's a relief, especially for someone like Reece James and like the jokes that have been going around, you know, Chelsea's best attack is their defense. So I think this is a great moment for Raheem to get that spot.
And finally become like, it's weird because even, I don't know about City fans, but like, when you think of Man City, Raheem Sterling doesn't actually necessarily become the first player you think about. Like, you've got your Agueros, your KDBs, your Yaya Torres, and like, obviously they're big legends who've won amazing things, but he gets overlooked. Like, during the Centurion season, he's one of their best players.
Yes.
Like, he's got back-to-back Premier Leagues, Champions League final, FA Cups, Carling Cups. Like, what more does this guy have to do to gain the respect of people? That's what I want to know, because he, for me, is on the cusp of being a Premier League legend. You can argue he already is.
He's not already there.
You know what I mean? You can argue he already is, but yet people act like he's not.
Well, but this is true. He has in the Champions League, as a Champions League player, he has now played in 76 Champions League games, and he has 48 GA. Yeah, I'm reading it here. He has 25 goals and 23 assists. When you look at just look at his goals for a minute. This guy is now level with Crespo. He's a couple of goals behind Rivaldo. He's 5 goals behind Wayne Rooney. You start going up the list here. He's only 2 goals away from matching Luis Suarez in this competition, as an example. Premier League wise, as well, as we know, he's been phenomenal, both in terms of goals, assists, and consistency of performances. He is probably I would put him and Michael Carrick as the 2 most underrated and disrespected footballers of the Premier League era, because maybe it's because they weren't the star names within their squads. Maybe it's because, and Raheem, I actually put Raheem Sterling in this category. He's actually quite understated. He isn't someone that's out there big on socials. You don't see him. I know he does do advertising and everything else, but he's quite I don't want to use the word shy because I don't know him, but he comes across to me as a little bit shy and unassuming. He isn't the biggest personality in the room all the time, and I think that kind of I don't even want to use the word tarnishing him, but he doesn't stand out like some other players do. Let me just say, but like from my point of view, I just feel like every time I watch him play, he looks like he's going to score. He looks like he's going to be dangerous. I just think the bar of expectation is set so high that people will look at him, have a season where he's consistent, he wins trophies, he's in teams of the year, he scores and assists, one of the highest levels for a player in his position in Europe, and people still go, yeah, but he could have got more. Yeah, he didn't do what Messi did, though. It's kind of weird, the levels that he gets set.
I think it's little things like the way he runs, the way he like I even said it today. He strikes the ball very like unorthodoxly. Like it's very strange how he does it sometimes, but he is effective. You know what I mean? He's effective. Like his dribbling, his pace and his dribbling are insane. He's extremely creative, and he can back goals. Is it going to be a screamer from 30 yards every week? No. You know what I mean? Will he miss one-on-ones? Yes. You know what I mean? He most definitely will. But like we were saying with Haaland, he has that. He's been trained by Pep to have that ability to be in the position where you need him most to score those goals. His first, 2 goals for Chelsea? One of them was a deflected shot. One of them, the other one, was a tap in. But anyone else in Chelsea right now wouldn't have been there.
Yeah, and again, people will say in the comments, and I've already started to see them, stat padding, stat merchant, blah 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 blah. You know me, I don't buy into that nonsense. You're not stat padding when you're scoring that many goals in the Champions League, the volume of goals he's got in the Premier League, and you've been integral for one of the most successful teams in the history of the Premier League, when you've been a mainstay. And he wanted to move on and try something different, and he's gone to Chelsea now. This man is the way he left Man City, it's like calling Thierry Henry an Arsenal flop.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. He's gone to another massive team who are trying to rebuild and create another great Chelsea team, and he fancied a new challenge. He could have quite easily, because Pep said it, done a new deal at Man City, stayed there, picked up the Premier League, and just been part of that team for another 3, 4, 5 years. He decided, I want to try something different, and that's a very brave move, because he could have just carried on doing what he was doing. And I think he'll be a big success at Chelsea. And I said to Chelsea fans not long ago that you may never love him like Eden Hazard. He may never score 2 or 3 goals where he dribble past 4 or 5 players that gets replayed for eternity by the Premier League, by Chelsea Football Club. But he will win you games, score goals, create goals at a higher rate over a 5-year period than Eden Hazard. And you look at the beginning of his season already. We've got the stats up on the screen. You guys can't see, but we can. You add that to tonight's goal, that's 5 goals and assists in his opening 8 games for Chelsea. And that's in a Chelsea team that hasn't even clicked yet. Can you imagine when this Chelsea team under Graham Potter become more solidified at the back, when they're creating more and more chances, when they get 3 or 4 other players around him in good form, when they know who's actually going to be the left back behind him?
The possibilities are
5 goals and assists in 8 games. So one of the worst performing Chelsea teams we've seen in many, many years. This guy is prolific, and prolific goal scorers, prolific creators need to have so much more respect put on their name. It's unbelievable for me that he does.